Hello everyone, my name is Kirill. You are on the AutoAdviser channel. Today we will talk about the engine cooling system and look into this bunch of spare system is designed to maintain the optimum operating temperature of the engine. The need for this system lies in the fact that when the fuel-air mixture is burned, a lot of heat is released. If this heat is not removed from the engine will overheat. What does overheat mean? When overheated, all metal parts will change their linear dimensions. That is, will increase in size. All this can lead to jamming of the engine and to a change in its geometry. There are several types of cooling systems. There is the so-called air cooling, when the engine is cooled simply by the oncoming airflow. An example of such a cooling system is motorcycles, where the engine is cooled by the oncoming airflow. Also, some car models, for example in the USSR, had air cooling. But today we will talk about a liquid cooling system, where there is always coolant in the system, and let's add a little light. That's better. Let's look closely at how it works. Here I have an internal combustion engine. This is our piston, which reciprocates, and in the engine housing itself there are such channels inside which coolant flows through. In our case, red. Remember I told you that when the fuel-air mixture burns inside the combustion chamber, heat is released. So the red coolant takes on some of this heat, and then this liquid circulates to the coolant radiator, and with the help of the radiator, excess heat is transferred into the air, therefore heating the street. In order for a steady circulation of fluid, a centrifugal pump is used. It is called a water pump. These channels inside an internal combustion engine are called a water jacket, because they are kind of put on the engine like a jacket. Also, as I said, in order for the coolant to circulate, a water pump is used. Now I have a classic pump in my hands, which is called a water pump. In this case, this is a centrifugal pump. It has a characteristic shape. This is its outer part of the pump, and this is the inner part. It is called centrifugal because the liquid, with the help of these blades, moves from the center outward, and the liquid is given centrifugal acceleration at this moment. Initially, the liquid enters through this hole, then it gets inside to the center, and with the help of these blades, is scattered to the sides. Well, in general, this is all about the pump. If you have any questions, ask them in the comments. And now attention. The next important detail is the radiator. Who would have thought that we would bring it into the studio? A radiator can be also called a heat exchanger, which means it is designed to exchange heat. In our case, the liquid gives off heat and the air takes this heat. Thus, heat exchange occurs. In the radiator, the coolant circulates through these tubes from the bottom up. On these tubes, as you can see, there are a lot of ribbed structures in order to increase contact area and actively transfer heat into the air. The radiator is installed in front of the car and is blown by an oncoming airflow, which takes heat from our cooling liquid. By the way, maybe some of you have seen that in winter on some cars, in particular trucks, they install such a piece of cardboard in front so that the radiator does not get blown on and the engine does not cool too much in winter. In general, this is it. The engine cooling system, and it is functional, but it lacks a couple of important details. The thing is that we don't always need to cool our engine. For example, when we warm up the car, on the contrary, we wait until the engine warms up. Or in the winter, it is also not necessary to cool the engine that much. To turn off the cooling system in these cases, You just need to block the movement of the coolant to our radiator. For this purpose, there is a so-called thermostat. It opens or closes a way for a liquid to flow. This is the main valve. Through this place exactly, coolant flows to our radiator. Inside the thermostat there is a special substance that expands when heated and opens our valve. This valve reacts at about 90 degrees Celsius, but it depends on the specific brand of car. Now I hope you understand how the thermostat works, but if you have questions, we have a separate video about this device. The link will be in the description. Now a thermostat has appeared on our scheme. Here it is. It divides the circulation system into two circles. A small circle of circulation, which occurs by passing a radiator, and a large circle of circulation, when the liquid enters the radiator. If you want to say that our scheme is incomplete, you're right. Here is the expansion tank. The expansion tank is a container that is designed to compensate for the expansion of the coolant volume. Based on the name, the expansion tank is designed to compensate for the increase in the volume of coolant when heated. And when heated, the liquid expands. In order not to tear the tubes of the coolant system, this compensation tank is needed, which compensates for this expansion. This tank is also designed to fill up coolant through this hole. Inside, in this case, there is this little thing that shows the level of liquid. Also, an important part of the expansion tank and the entire coolant system is the expansion tank cap. This is a very important part because it has a special valve. The valve inside the cap of the expansion tank, this one that I am now pressing, is designed to maintain the right pressure in the coolant system. So, how it works? For example, water in a kettle boils at a temperature of 100 degrees Celsius. But if we climb a mountain where the pressure is lower than 1 atmosphere, then the water will boil at a temperature of about 80 degrees Celsius. So if we artificially raise the pressure, that is, make it excessive, just the same as our coolant system did, then the boiling point will rise and the water will already boil at a temperature of about 105–110 degrees Celsius. Regarding our design, the valve with a spring inside controls the pressure inside the expansion tank. If the pressure is higher, then the spring is compressed and excess pressure is released through this tube. Depending on the brand of a car, the design of this expansion tank cap may differ, but nevertheless, the principle of operation remains the same. The expansion tank cap must be changed at least once every 100,000 kilometers. So, if it's time to change the expansion tank cap or any other spare parts of the coolant system in your car, go to our site AutoAdviser. The link will be in the description. At the end, a few words on the coolant. It will be theoretically possible to pour water in the coolant system, but water has a number of disadvantages. At low temperatures, water freezes, so in winter it is not fit for operation. Also, when water boils, it releases scale, which can settle on the walls of the engine itself and contaminate the coolant system. So be sure to use antifreeze as a coolant. It comes in a variety of brands and types. To find out which one is necessary for your car, you can ask our managers on the AutoAdviser website. This was the AutoAdviser channel. I hope you found this video interesting. Be sure to like and subscribe to our channel. Do not forget to press the bell. And all the best to you. See you soon.